Today we're going to talk about America's greatest threat. It's really against white Christianity, conservatism. That's what we're seeing more of. We're going to talk about the subway incident and why no one's talking about it. Not one public outcry from a media, not even only media, mayorships, Democrat leaders. This guy gave chance after chance after chance. It shows that you better lock these people up. We're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about what some of these mayors and governors are doing by giving passes to illegal immigrants, to wanting them to vote, and also giving holidays for Muslims. Now, this is something that, as Americans and conservatives and Christians, we should be very, very wary of. Pay attention. We're going to talk about all that today. And then lastly, we're going to discuss COVID. It's actually creeping back up, they're saying. CDC comes out with a warning issued saying that 24 states are already seeing high numbers. This goes along with the fact that they're going to keep on pushing this. I've seen more masks lately. Let's see what happens as we get closer to the fall and winter season. We'll read the studies and we'll talk about it. This is why I tell you to prepare, not because you believe in it, because there are people who do believe in it, and it will shut down the things that you need. Remember the story with Walgreens yesterday? It's very important to pick up the things you need because people are crazy. Let's dive into these stories today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. We are so humbled by your support and being here. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about the CDC thing. Let's talk about the 24 states, and then we'll get into the more pressing issues to me, which is the battle of America when it comes to Christianity and being white and conservative. Let's first talk about the CDC. This was released from the CDC. It says they issue a warning as of September 2nd, 2025. The CDC estimates that COVID-19 infections are growing and likely growing not only just in a few areas, but upwards of 24 states. Declining and likely declining in only 15, but not changing in 7. It says what we're seeing is states that are growing and likely the states are going to go up. It says high probability of more growth, which is a greater chance of 90%, is California, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, and Ohio. They've been the ones to consistently grow with higher probabilities of epidemic chance. Other states that are growing right now, it says of the 24, are the ones notable in the South, Southeast, West, and Mid-Atlantic areas. What we're going to be facing is the fact that we need to take precautions. That's what they said. This comes from a picture of CVS that just got posted, and it says we're giving free COVID and free flu vaccines once again because we believe that it is potentially going to get worse, and CDC says we need to start masking and getting people placed in the arm. So now, let's just camp out here for just a second, then we're going to talk into the pressing issues. Why is this a big deal? This is not a big deal because you believe in it, you're wearing your 3 masks, you're going to get your 15 boosters. That's not what I'm saying here. I think this is a big deal because of a few things. Let's first go through them. Number one, if you are dependent on government, or dependent on the grocery store, or dependent on going to town, or dependent on going to a bigger business, this will affect you. Not because you believe in it, but by the powers of the grocery stores, of the government, of the dependent place that you're going, of the work environment. They're going to put stipulations on you. Think back 2020. A lot of people didn't believe in it, but however their grocery store did, however their store of employment did, however their office did. So it affected the way we thought about this. With less than a 1% mortality rate, we still went absolutely bonkers. Now they're bringing this back up, and now they're offering free. CDC is offering free flu and COVID things. Now this comes right after the fact. It's weird how it comes right after the fact that RFK was just in front of Congress telling you that it's safe to not get this. There's a doctor in the UK. Also, there's a doctor under the HHS staff. Both of them, 2 separate organizations, both of them said no one should ever got this unless they were deathly ill and that was their last chance of survival. Think about that now. Doctors are saying that. That's not Bill Gates saying that. That's not some politician saying that. That is doctors that has done the studies now are saying that no one should have got this unless it was at the last resort. America, if you know, RFK just came out and said he wants no one under 65 to be able to get this unless a doctor recommends it. You know what it is? What's so funny? The liberal areas and the crazy police states of Europe, like Great Britain, it's I think 70. France is like 75. In other parts of Europe, it's like 75 to 80. What that says is they don't want anyone coming under that age to get it without a doctor really recommending it because of the dangers of it. So it's amazing how now we have the CDC coming out and saying, please put that back on your face and you start putting that stuff in your veins. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? There was a study that came out just last week that says that this was causing for terminal cancers. Now, Russia just came out this week and stated that they have an RNA that is literally going to take cancer away. Well, that would be awesome. But let's see the trials on that, because ultimately what we've realized is with this RNA that we've been getting is it's literally causing for turbo cancers in most people. I told you, just the place that I work and the people I know, the people that got that, I kid you not, and this is not a rant against them. They know I love them. They love me. We have different respects on certain things. But to be honest with you, the 6 or 7 that got this are the 6 or 7 that are literally sick. One has passed, and the 4 or 5 other ones have either heart clotting agents, pulmonary issues, or cancer. Could be coincidence. Could be the fact that they're just getting older. But is it now? All the other guys in my organization didn't, including another very elder guy that's older than most of them, and he's fine as can be. So let's pay attention to these stories, because right now they're pushing it once again. And even though you don't believe it, even though you think it's crazy, there's people that will believe it, and there's people that will put double face mask on. There's people that will believe anything the government tells them, and they'll run to the doctor, and that's what's happening already. Now, I want to get to the serious, more pressing issues dealing with America. I think the battle for our heart is already happening. The greatest threat to American Christians is right in front of us. I want you to listen to a few of these stories. This person in Michigan said, and again, we keep bringing up a lot of these same areas because these are the Muslim strongholds. Victory to Islam in America is the only matter and will come in due time. The Miftah Institute based in Michigan has a goal to preserve and practice the Prophet Muhammad. Here's an openly saying, and again, you can go back to the clip. Go back and key this in, Miftah Institute in Michigan, that he states that America will be a Muslim country and we will take it over. A path to America to become Islam is right in our cusp. It's going to take place. Does that make you feel better? Now, you know, we've been talking about the Muslim faith and the dangers of it. Let's keep on going. Listen to this from New York City. Mayor Adams has elevated Muhammad's birthday to a holiday status. Now, I'll be honest with you. You're trying to put this faith that absolutely hates us, this religion that absolutely hates America, now we're giving him a holiday? So now New Yorkers will have a holiday in honor of Muhammad, is the same person that they have pledged allegiance to when they bombed the towers in 9/11. Boy, have we forgotten. It's amazing what we're doing and why we're doing this. We are literally following alongside Europe. It's unbelievable. It says New York City has lost its mind. We are witnessing the preparations of the rule of anti-Christian, anti-religious, anarchy, and maybe even the anti-Christ. Very much in times where Christians will not have a say, but they're bringing other religions that has to seem to have more importance. Now, let's go to a few other issues that's facing the white Christian or the conservative. Now, listen to this. This is where, again, I get mad at people like Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, is because they have been more of a person on television right now going against the Trump administration than they ever were against Biden or Obama. Isn't it amazing how now all of a sudden Massie and Rand Paul care about certain values and things that America should be first in, but they never spoke up during Biden's administration? I mean, listen to this. For instance, the drug bust the other day. If you remember that the drone blew up literally blew up the boat that had drugs on it. That is a known trafficking area. That is a known area that has caused for these kind of drugs to come to our shores, to cause for our people to get sick. Rand Paul was up in arms that we didn't give them a due process and that we did not take care of them and just warn them, and that we blew them up. He even went back to a fictional book to try to compare it to. It's unbelievable how these people are so bought off. I love J.D. Vance when he says this. Now, I'm not the biggest J.D. Vance fan. I think he scares me a little bit. He curses a whole lot, which is a little I don't like. If you really want to be an alpha male, you don't have to curse and change your lingo to represent who you are. And I don't like someone who curses a lot. But anyways, I digress. He said the other day, he said, we should have took them out. I'm glad that we did. This is a win. And Rand Paul said all this stuff. And I love what he said, frankly, I don't give a you-know-what up to Rand Paul. Now, that is leadership. No matter that I like him cursing or not, I do like the fact that we are taking the steps to protect Americans. This, again, like I told you in the video that we talked about this, is that this is the absolutely right step to protect Americans. But we have our own conservative party now, quote-unquote conservative party, that's now telling us that's wrong. So now we have the Muslims causing problems. Now we're giving holidays to them, and we're giving them times of prayer. We're giving them special occurrences. Did you know the biggest group of individuals, listen to this now, 85% of people that is getting help worldwide is the Muslim faith from taxpayer dollars all over the world. And yet, they're taking it and telling you death to the West. They're taking your money, you're feeding them money, and ultimately, they're still saying death to America, death to the West, death to Israel. Why do we keep doing this? And then now we see the situation with the conservatives infighting. Because what that does is this. The reason that's a danger is because when conservatives are infighting, and I say this about Christian churches too, if you're a good conservative Christian church, we need to learn to work alongside each other and not against each other, because ultimately we're making a weaker church. We're making a weaker Christian person. We're making a weaker stance on conservatism. Now let's keep on going. There's a mayor in California now who is openly stating that he believes that we should have illegals voting in elections. They know they can't win without some tomfoolery. So this mayor in California now is openly calling for Gavin Newsom to make an executive order so that state can be held in regards to having illegal immigrants vote. It says, we have now reached a point of California mayors openly stating that illegals should be able to have the same rights as residents and citizens of America. Mayor of Huntington Park, Arturo Flores, calls for Gavin Newsom to issue an executive order to allow for the state to allow for illegal immigrants to vote legally. I can't pass the law that allows my citizens and residents to vote because the state of California won't allow it. However, if we will allow for illegals to vote, we would get more representation to where then it would truly represent the people of California. We've lost California. We've lost the whole Western Seaboard, people. But the purpose is, you see how that battle, how it's creeping in on us in all cases. Now, let's bring up the biggest. The black crime issue is big, and I don't want to skirt around it anymore. The cities are overran with hatred of white people and Christian people. It's unbelievable. So we're facing the battles of illegal immigrants. We're facing the battles of the Muslim faith. We're facing the battles of just being white and being a conservative and being a Christian and supporting Israel. I mean, listen to this. If you remember this story, and I know it has went viral, super viral, which it should. 0 reports on the AP. 0 reports on PBS. 0 reports on New York Times. 0 reports on NPR. 0 report on Wall Street Journal. 0 reports on BBC. 0 reports on CNN. 0%. 0 reports on WAPO. Without Twitter and without people talking about it, this black guy who had no right and no reason, and he was a criminal, had been arrested. He had over 12 to 15 different mugshots. But no, we want to be like Rand Paul and give these people due process. We want to be like Thomas Massey and tell you, oh, it's okay. Liberty. They need freedom. We're going to give them a chance. No, you lock these people up. This guy should be taking out and capital punishment right there. Just like that. I have to say, this is where I think that El Salvador has it right, Bukele. He would have taken this guy and thrown him in prison, shaved his head, and started making him do hard labor until they took him out. That stopped these people. But if you just slap these people on the wrist and tell them, don't do it again, I'm going to get on to you, this is what happens. This poor lady walks in, sits down, completely unbeknownst that there's somebody behind her, and he has no rhyme or reason, doesn't know her, and out of just hatred to white people. And what's so crazy is she's a Ukrainian blonde white girl who probably would have been safer in her own country than safer here in our subways. He literally come around her and bludgeoned her to death. Now, you know what's even sadder? Everybody around didn't say nothing, didn't do anything. They just watched it. Then the guy got up with a bloody knife, walking around, and not a one thing was helped. It's amazing. It is mind-blowing to me that we're allowing this to happen in our cities. Now, if you remember, what was it? The guy who, his name was Jordan, who put the guy in a headlock, the Jordan Neely thing, and remember the white guy put him in a headlock because he was acting erratically on a subway? It made national news. The guy had to go to jail for a little bit. They had to fight it in trial. Not one news cycle did the black with the white. The white guy was trying to save the people on the train, and he put them in a submission hold. The guy was on drugs. The guy was just a deviant in that area. In this case, the guy is an open criminal and bludgeons this girl to death, and not one news media touches it. That is the hatred of the white conservative race. That is the hatred of Christian America. That is the hatred of the Jews and anyone who supports the Jews. We're seeing this right before our eyes, people. Listen to what the mayor said. I tell you what, Charlotte, just like all these other cities, we should allow them just to burn themselves to the ground, because this is what's happening. Black crime and homicides are taking over, and if you're white, you better get out of these areas. The video of the heartbreaking attack, this is a direct quote, of Irina's life is now public. I want to thank the media partners and community members who have chosen not to repost it. She is getting upset that we're reposting this video. And she says this out of the family's respect. I could imagine. I agree. That's hard to see. Not once did she call this guy out and say he should go to jail. She says, this was senseless and tragic, and it's a loss. My prayers remain for this family in this grief process. Like so many of you, I'm heartbroken that we need a place that Charlotte can be safe. Not once did she call out the black guy who was openly looking for someone white to just harm. We have got to wake up. Our cities are being overrun. Mayor Adams, who now Trump is trying to give a position to in HUD, or trying to give a position to allegedly in his administration, so Andrew Cuomo can win New York, because they don't want the communists to win, the Muslim communists to win. What we actually see is our cities are falling, no matter which answer that is. This is what happens when you have weak men. This is what happens when you have weak men. They make for hard times. UK has already fallen. America is next. America's next, people. Why do we bend over backwards to support the transgender? Why do we bend over backwards to support the Muslim faith? These two people are a way much of a minority. Why do we bend over backwards for the illegal immigrants? Why do we bend over backwards for the liberals who are absolutely loco? Why do we bend over backwards? Because the war is against the Christian conservative white male. Toxic masculinity, all this bull. You better wake up. You better start preparing. These stories all are tied together to where there is one fight, and it's against the core conservative part of America. They want to change America for what they think is better, but ultimately it will be the demise of our kingdom. Guys, let me know your thoughts of the day. This is something that I hate to talk about on Sunday, because most of all, I hope you went to church. I hope you took your family to church. But we are literally seeing perilous end times when you have people that are getting killed because they're white. They can make all the things up about being black and all the hatred towards them. That is such a falsity. The media can spin it every way they want to. However, they won't touch this because they know that guy should have been in prison. He should have already faced the death penalty, or at least now should go. But guess what? I bet you money he will live on our tax dollars in prison for years upon years upon years, because we are ran by weak men in our country. Congress, mayors, governors. And don't get me wrong, Trump has been a good president. But again, I'd love for him to call for this guy to be publicly executed. Now will that happen? No. But he publicly executed that white girl. We should do the same thing to him. Sorry, just being honest. Give me your thoughts for today. God bless.